You know, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. You know, the ones that keep the grass low so the tree can show a little extra, especially this time of year when we're trying to stuff a lot of stockings, or maybe just one stocking you're trying to stuff. Who knows? But the thing that I do like about Manscaped is some of the awesome things they have. We talked about the Lawnmower 4.0, keeps you groomed up nice and neat. And then you have the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
Keeps the hair looking good, smelling fresh, healthy. You know
100%.
Can't go wrong with that. The nose trimmers. Got to get them weed whackers. We don't want no nose hairs. That's some of the products that Manscaped offers, man. But they have a ton of stuff. And I have heard that women also like to use the Lawnmower 4.0 as well, man. It definitely helps. Like I said, real low risk in terms of nicks and cuts and stuff like that. So, you know, you definitely want to check the crew out, baby. Yes, you do. But more importantly, as we always say, if we're going to talk about you, we got to have a promo code, some type of deal.
No question.
So if you use the promo code MOATS, put it on everything, you will get 20% off along with free shipping worldwide. So stop wasting time and take care of your delicate twins, and they will take care of you and your friends. Anywho, man, so we got Titans, Steelers, 6-6-1 versus 9-4 Titans. Mike Vrabel coming into town.
Revenge game
for old Danny.
Revenge game for Vrabel too.
Oh yeah, that's what it started.
He was
from.
on the Steelers the first 4 years.
That's where it started.
You look at his Pro Football Reference. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I think I was around at the time. I was probably like 3 or 4 years old when he was playing for the Steelers, though. We barely played him. Then he goes up to New England. And he's like a star up there.
Yep. I think Peasy might have been here when he was here.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think Peasy was telling us like he just couldn't see the field. But when you think about some of the guys they had during that time, it's like, I understand.
Yeah, we did have some linebackers.
Yeah. But this one's going to be interesting, man. Obviously, the Titans have been pretty banged up at times this season. No Derrick Henry, obviously, with him still being on injured reserve, along with Bud Dupree as well right now, man. So that part's going to be a little different. But as a whole, man.
AJ Brown, Julio Jones has been in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
He's been playing, but it doesn't seem like Tannehill has that same connection with him that he does with AJ Brown.
I would agree with that. I would agree. But I also don't know how healthy Julio really is. Like when you watch him, it's like he's doing some things, he's making some cool catches, but as a whole, when you watch AJ play versus Julio, AJ looks like a healthier player. I mean, burstier, twitchier, and all those type of things, man. But obviously with AJ, he's dealing with, you know, because for him, it's the mental health thing, right? If I remember correctly, because
I think so.
If I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Because he had put out the report. I guess he was talking about like the suicide stuff that he had went through a couple of weeks ago. And then from there, they put him on injury reserve, if I remember.
I think you're right. I was wondering, because I know he's been kind of hurt too. I didn't know if it was one of those lingering injuries, but I kind of forgot about that report. Tennessee placed Brown on IR on November 27th, so he would have to miss at least 3 games. So eligible, when's that? November 27th, 3 games. Yeah, but it's either this week or next week he's probably eligible.
For him, though, like I said, it wasn't an injury. It was because of the whole, like I said, him making the comments that he was talking about with his mental health. Yeah, I'm almost 100% certain that was the reason.
You're probably right. Yeah, I forgot that even happened. But as you bring it up, it's just like, I guess that, they would do that.
Yeah, so that's going to make it interesting. But, I mean, it's a huge benefit for us. Now, they still have some talented players, and they still have talented units, but it's different when you watch them compared to how they were at the beginning of the season and how we thought on paper this team would be at this part of the season as well, man. So definitely going to be looking forward to this matchup, man. So with that being said, how we always start these things off, let us know your 3 things that you like about this Tennessee Titans team. 3 things you like, and, you know, put it in the chat. And after that, we'll read those off. And then, me and you, we got to get ours in. So do you want to go first or you want me to go first? As we go back and forth, or we'll attempt to go back and forth. I know how you get a little overzealous at times.
Yeah, you're right.
You'd be like, all right, you go first. All right, man, look, I'm going to do these next 3 and then I'll let you go again.
You go first.
All right. So for me, man, the first thing that I do like about this team is their commitment to running the ball. You watch them when they had Derrick Henry, they had just crazy commitment to running it, right? Even in today's NFL where all the rules benefit you throwing it, they still were with that old school approach. And even with Derrick Henry not being there, they still are showing a commitment to running the ball. And even though it's not as effective as it was with Derrick Henry, they still are a good running team in terms of how they utilize it just to be effective enough and make you have to play them honest. So for me, man, the commitment to running the ball definitely jumps off the screen.
I agree with you 100%. Now, I don't know how much I like that, but it is who they are, and it has what's kept them somewhat successful over these past however many games with them missing Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Because their offense does not feel explosive at all.
It does not.
But they are getting the job done. Like, they looked decent against the Patriots.
It's funny you said that. I literally had that in my notes. I was like, yo, they just lack explosion. Like, it's just stale almost. Not boring, but it's stale. Yeah, I don't know.
It might be boring.
It might be a little boring,
I almost fell asleep. I was watching
Could be a little boring.
Well, yeah. That could just be because they were facing Jacksonville. When I was watching that game, I almost fell asleep. Yeah, very conservative. But Patriots game, the reason they lost that one was more turnovers, I think. And they couldn't really stop Patriots offense. They started running the ball pretty good in the second half. But, yeah, they had good rushing numbers against the pass. They were just fumbling. Tannehill's throwing picks left and right. It was a one-score game for the most part. And then even you look back on the Texans, you're right. They stayed committed around the ball. There's more turnovers these last however many games, and they kept it clean against Jacksonville. So I'm with you. I don't know how much I like it. I don't like too much about this team, but I'll say, they're continuing to run the ball. It almost goes back to the Browns a little bit. They know they are. They're trying to stick with that, and it's keeping them relevant up until they get Derrick Henry back. Well, they're still going to be running the ball with Derrick Henry, but I'm just saying it's going to be a way better version of that when they get him. Yeah, because you could switch it up. You lose Derrick Henry, all of a sudden you could start slinging it with Tannehill. Now they did a little bit in the Texans. They were trying to get back in that one, but yeah, I'll say that too. I agree with you.
Yeah, for me, man, I don't think them having that commitment is a bad thing running the ball. I think it minimizes the turnovers. When you start talking about throwing the ball, that's the quickest way to get yourself up out of there when you have turnovers. I mean, we saw that with Minnesota, right, in the second half. They kind of got away from playing through Dalvin. You get 2 turnovers, it changed the outlook of the game in a hurry. So for the Titans, when I see them staying committed to running the ball, I think of it not just as, okay, you're controlling the clock, you're minimizing how much the defense has to be out there, but you're also protecting Ryan Tannehill, because Tannehill has excelled in Tennessee because he's been able to have a running game that's competent. And that allows him to have play action pass. It allows him to have favorable numbers in the passing attack. Whereas if you start changing that and having him being more of a pass first option and that offense being more pass first, he will turn that ball over. I think right now he has 13, 14 interceptions anyways. Like he will do that. That's one of the things he did in Miami. So that's the reason why I don't think it's a bad thing. If it was maybe a more elite quarterback, then you go, hey man, start throwing a little bit more. But with him, he's right on that fringe of really good, but at the same time, he's not elite.
I just think he's a little bit better version than Baker Mayfield. He's taller. He has some better physical tools.
Better athlete,
And he could run. He can get outside the pocket a lot better than Baker. Yeah. That's how I view him. Yeah. I've always been a critic of Tannehill. What do you got for 2?
For number 2, I have physicality. They are a physical team. And I do like that because it's not just one particular unit. Like you watch them on offense, their O-line, they're firing off. Now, we're not saying that they're the most technically sound or the most skilled.
Their O-line's slipping a little bit.
But they are, you watch them when they fire off the ball, they are hitting people in the mouth. And that is something that I like. Defensively, they fly around. Like I said, not the most talented guys, and some of that's because of injury, but the guys fly around. I mean, that's the thing that when you watch them, they are not afraid to hit you. They are not afraid to put their face in the fan. And that's something that I like to highlight because as we've seen at different times, not everybody is as committed to being physical. Not everybody is as committed to tackling. But that Titans team, offensively, defensively, even on special teams, like they play with the physicality. It's almost, it shouldn't be a surprise. It's kind of like the reflection of the coach, right? In terms of Vrabel, that's his demeanor when he's, handling that team. That's, his imprint on that team and things like that. And it shows up. And it really helps them at times to kind of close that gap where they might be a little less talent-wise. They can make up for it just being more physical.
I like that call. I was just going to say their defense as a whole. It seems like the last 3 games, at least, those are the ones that I watched. Now, New England was one of them. They ended up losing. Jacksonville, not the best offense. And Texans, I know they're not the best team, but it felt like every offense, the Titans made it tough on the offenses. Like, there's no like easy yards against the Titans, man. There's no like, oh man, I'm just
you gotta earn it, man.
Yeah, you really do. And Patriots started to in the second half. They started to get a little bit more physical, but man, I think the biggest thing with the Titans was just the turnovers in those games. Yeah. That's what really killed them. But like the defense, they stood up when they needed to.
Yep.
So I'm with you on physicality. I'm just gonna say that for the defense as a whole.
Nah, like it shows up. Like
it's not easy. Like even with the injuries being in and out, they're pretty good as a unit. There's no glaring holes like what you see with us. You have not seen the Bengals game or the Vikings game. At least the last however many games I watched. I didn't watch all their games here. But yeah, it seems like they can stand up with the best of them and make it tough for the offense.
Yeah. And when they don't beat themselves, that's typically why they're 9-4, because as we've seen, a lot of these games come down to the wire. And if you're able to just not lose it, sometimes, I mean, that's enough. And that's been the case for them in a lot of these games, man. They really execute well. I mean, shoot, I even think back to that Titans-Bills game, the Monday nighter. I mean, the Bills are moving up and down, but red zone, they're highly efficient in terms of the Titans defense, right? Yeah. And you see what Bills have the turnovers, Titans don't. They're protecting the ball. That's just how they play. They hang around, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, they actually won this game? This is crazy. So that's them, though, man.
Yeah, like I actually feel like they outplayed the Texans. Yeah. Patriots, I don't want to say they outplayed them, but it was close. Yeah. It was legit like a one-score game. It actually should have maybe been tied or in the Titans' favor had it not been for the turnovers. And then Randy Bullock's missing kicks left and right, too.
Yes.
So the defense is the thing that kind of sticks out for me and how tough they are and how they make it tough on offenses. So with you on that.
All right. And now the last thing for me, man, is the coach, Mike Vrabel. Fearless. You see how he coaches, and I mean, it's a direct reflection on the field with his team. They believe that they can beat anybody. They don't care about the injuries. They don't care about what the other team has in terms of star power, big names. They just play their game. They hardly are ever wavered either way. But when you watch Vrabel, I mean, that's just how he operates. I think that he's very detail oriented. And you can watch that by just seeing his players. They are smart players. Typically they're especially the secondary. They think the game through. You can tell by just, like I said, certain things they do on tape, some of the pre-snap disguises, some of the things that they're doing post-snap in terms of how they move. You can just tell that this is a well-coached team. And once again, that's something that we don't always take for granted either. But you can just see that with him. And I do think that's a huge asset for them, because if you take Vrabel out of that situation, I don't think they're as successful, especially
no way.
While you're losing Derrick Henry, while you don't have Bud, while, you know, certain guys.
A couple of those games, they don't have Julio and AJ Brown.
Right. I'm just like, there's no way you're winning these games without him, man.
No names, literally no names. Yeah. And for them to be 9-4. Granted, it's a real easy division, but they have won tough games while they still had Derrick Henry, and they're actually keeping themselves even relevant. And like you said,
seriously, dude,
some of these games, when Patriots is the best example over these last however many. And the Rams too. The Rams,
when Derrick Henry went out, we thought that it was over for those guys, and they went on the road, beat LA in LA. Then after that, I mean, you could just still see them. They're 9 wins. They're 1 away from having double-digit wins right now.
Yeah,
and this has been how many weeks without Derrick? And how many weeks continuing without Derrick?
Yeah, they went Rams. This was after Henry. They went Rams, Saints. I think they had Simeon in, so whatever. Still a tough team, especially on defense for them. And then lost Texans, lost Patriots, and then they ended up bouncing back against the Jaguars. Yeah. They're fortunate they're in a easy division here, and they could afford to even lose a couple more here on out. They're going to make the playoffs.
I think technically all of us got easy divisions right now. Real about it.
Oh, they're bad. Texans, Jaguars.
You think their division is worse than ours?
Yes. Texans, Jaguars, dude. I mean, that's bad.
All right, the Jaguars are really bad, yes. But the Jaguars did beat the Bills, though.
I know. And they played tight against the Bengals that one time.
And the Texans beat the Titans. Remember with Tyrod, right? Wasn't that week? Yeah.
They beat the Titans, yeah.
Right, so I'm like, I don't know, man. But no, Titans, one? No, Texans have 3-4 wins, maybe?
2. I
Jags
believe 2.
got like 2, so yeah. We are slightly
I think
better.
Jags have 1.
Yes. Yeah, okay, so we are a notch above them. We're a slight notch above them. We're not, yeah.
I'm with you on Mike Vrabel. I don't think there's another coach that'd be in there where they're 9-4 right now.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Belichick or something. It'd have to be a top 5 coach, but that just goes to show how good Mike Vrabel is. 9-4, and especially over these past however many weeks, how they beat the Rams. Now, I do think the difference has been, I've mentioned this how many times this far, the turnovers, though. They got the turnovers like in the Rams game. Like, they've been opportunistic in their wins. The ones that they've lost, they've kept it close.
Yep.
They killed themselves with the turnovers, but he's kept them relevant. You could see they have no names on offense. They've been dealing with injuries on defense. And then overall, his coaching record for his last 4 years is pretty damn good.
It's crazy.
62%, 62.3% winning percentage. 9-7 first year, 9-7 second year, 11-5 last year, 9-4.
Mariota for a year and a half, and switching to Tannehill.
He hasn't had the best of talent down there. He definitely has. I mean,
and even when he got Henry wasn't Henry like how he is now when he first got there.
No, Henry wasn't like that. No. Definitely not. And then receivers, you had A.J. Brown, who was young. I think he drafted A.J. Brown.
But A.J. Brown has been in the league with. This is his third year.
Yeah. So, he ended up drafting A.J. Brown. So, his first year, his rookie year, he was pretty solid. He had like over 1,000 yards, but he wasn't the receiver that he was today. Yeah, he definitely wasn't. So he helped develop him.
Because even back then, we still thought that Deke was out playing AJ in those first years. Yeah,
he was. And then they had Corey Davis as their second receiver. So they haven't had the best of talent. Jonnu Smith was pretty good for them.
But he did get Corey to play better, though, because Corey was like a bust low key. It's
credit to him.
Yeah.
It's credit to him. He hasn't had the top end talent down there, but has made it happen. Turned Tannehill's career around. Now I don't want to give it all to him, but I mean,
no, he plays a large.
If you're the
part
head
of
guy,
it, though,
if you're the head guy, you got to get some of that credit. It's no different how
we talk about Coach T at certain times. It's like we're not going to give him all the credit, but he did have a big impact. I mean, you could see his stamp on it, and you just compare that to what it was prior to him arriving there. And that's the other reason why you could compliment him, because you look at the piece that he's brought in. He doesn't have some elite top 5 quarterback. You know what I mean? Like some people you walk in, it's like, okay, you got the perfect setup. I don't know if you're a good coach or not, but you got this great player. That's the question with McCarthy, right? That was the question around Matt LaFleur. It's like, I don't know if you're a lead or not. You just got these, you got Aaron Rodgers. Like that changes stuff for you. It's like coaching LeBron. Like, I don't know if you're really a good coach or not. But with him, his talent hasn't been crazy like that.
Yeah, going on that little AFC championship run where they beat the Patriots on the road and they ended up beating Baltimore, where, that was Lamar's MVP season. I think Baltimore won 14-2 that year. So, you got to give him credit.
Yeah.
You definitely got to give him credit. Now, I think they're always going to be limited because of Tannehill. Like, I don't see them winning a Super Bowl because of that, but Vrabel's going to keep them in the mix. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if the game's close on Sunday just because of Vrabel and how that team has played and games over these past however many weeks, even without Derrick Henry.
I would agree. All right, so let's go back to the chat, man. Let's see what the people are saying in terms of what they like. And because we haven't got to dislike. So the 3 things that they like. All right. Mr. B Malarkey says he likes their running game, the coach, and the culture. Rod Dallas says the running game, the coaching, along with the quarterback. Okay. Steely.
I was thinking about including Tannehill. I couldn't do it.
I was waiting to see if you was.
I was gonna say just his mobility. That's all I was gonna bring up. That's it. I'm not a fan of Tannehill. Dude. I'm not. He does have nice arm strength though. I just don't see him putting it all together.
Then we got Stilly. Was it Stilly Macaphiliac? Stilly Macaphiliac. All right, Stilly Macaphiliac says coaching, rushing, and coaching again. John Maumeister, Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He says the receiving corps is great. And he also says the running game, even though Derrick Henry is gone. Now, I like their receivers when they are all the way healthy. I don't know about this current group being great just yet, but I'm with you.
Yeah, they got to be healthy because
when they healthy, they nice.
Julio banged up, plus a healthy A.J. Brown still isn't lights out.
Right, that's my thing. Like
AJ Brown
being out there changes a lot. Him not being out there, I don't like him as much. Yeah,
but if Julio still isn't all the way there, you could see some of the struggles they've even had when they were fully healthy.
Right.
Like what I mean in fully healthy is both those guys were on the field.
Correct.
With Derrick Henry, like their passing game wasn't like elite like that. I thought it was going to be. Like when you combine those two and Derrick Henry,
their passing game is always going to be better when they run the ball. So the numbers will be lower. But the impact in terms of explosive plays will be there. But that's largely based on them being able to run that ball because it forces you to bring an extra defender. And that's one of the issues, like with the Steelers, for example, right? We aren't forcing teams to bring an extra defender in that box, so it hurts you in terms of trying to pass the ball. But because we can't win in the light, boxes where we have the advantage from a numbers standpoint, it kills you. It makes you, everything extremely difficult because you can't do the one thing that you should have the advantage in. Whereas with the Titans, man, they take advantage of those opportunities and they kind of force you to play, in a bad way at times, man.
How about this one? Jacob Malacio says, Moats, I have this show playing in the whole bar at Applebee's. That's kind of dope.
Shout out to Applebee's. Shout out to you, Jacob. Let's get it. I like it.
Says y'all on TV right now.
I like it. You're making me blush.
That's pretty dope. Stephen H says Vrabel, and Vrabel. Big fan of Vrabel. Yeah, right now, there isn't anything I like that much about this team without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Defense, I mentioned all the stuff about physicality and making it tough on the offense, but it's not something I love and I'm pounding the table about. And then even the running game, whenever we mention it, it's like, cool, you're running the ball a lot. It's like above average, maybe even average at this point.
I feel like they got like certain players that I really like Kevin Byard. Love his game.
Sure.
Harold Landry, to an extent, like him as a rusher.
He's been doing good this year.
Jeffrey Simmons, I'm like, okay, I really like his game. But then after that, I'm like, I ain't really feeling the rest of this group.
Oh, I like Elijah Molden too.
Yeah.
We talked about him in the draft, man. They got him doing like Mike Hilton type of stuff over there. Yeah, I really like him. And off it's really Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry and AJ Brown for me.
Because Taylor Lewan, I feel like with him, I don't know.
That line's slipping.
I don't know if it's because like the injuries that he's been having lately, but man, he ain't looking the same right now.
He's getting torched.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, what's going on? Yeah. So hopefully our guys can do the same thing, right? Yeah. So it should be good. It should be good, man.
Yeah, because Jacksonville was able to get pressure. Man, that Titans offense, in terms of just running the ball, they do that a lot. Mm-hmm. But Tannehill makes drops back, a lot of play action, and he gets the ball out quick. We got to just keep him off balance. And if we could do that, he's inaccurate, throwing the ball all over the place sometimes.
It's going to be big dog rush 1, cover 1 behind it. Hope for the best.
You're feeling it. That's the game plan.
Yeah, that's the defense. Yeah, dog rush 1 because it's going to send both our outside linebackers, which would protect against the play action.
What are we doing? We bringing 4? Or we bringing blitz?
No. This is like your regular just base front, right? So technically, it's only considered a blitz because it's a 5th guy coming, but the 5th guy is just your other outside linebacker. So it's not like anything exotic, but you're playing cover 1 behind in a base. So you
don't have an extra zone then.
It's correct, because we're all gonna be man to man, which I'm fine with because their receivers aren't as threatening. I don't feel like that receiving group is as threatening as some of the receiving groups that we've faced in these past couple of weeks, where I'm just like, matchup wise, who do we have? Like when I'm watching the Steelers play Justin Jefferson, I'm like, our coverages are altered because we still have to shade Minka to stay over there. We got to do some type of like hard double influence. Like they don't have that. Even though Julio by name is Julio, at this stage in his career, he's not.
Kello could lock him up.
I ain't say all that, but he would have success against him. That whole lockup phrase you be throwing out there, Lord.
Well, it might be Joe Hayden too.
Yeah, you never know. They might mess around and throw Justin Lane on him. You know how we do. Come on, baby. You know how we do.
Justin Lane? No, he shouldn't be seeing the field this week.
You know how we do, bro.
If Joe Hayden's back.
You know how we do. We do some weird stuff sometimes, man.
Do we have him 4th on the depth chart now? Is he above Pierre? He might be. Because Pierre's not seeing the field at all now.
Not at all. That's what I'm saying. Like,
at least Lane's getting some snaps. But this is without Joe Hayden. So if Joe's back. Yeah, because Trey Norwood is kind of maybe our pseudo 4th guy. Yeah.
Arthur Milet, though.
True. Yeah, so that's what I mean. I don't think we'll see that if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, but for me, man, I kind of like it. I'm like, man, that'll keep us with pressure in terms of the play action pass, but you got to be disciplined in terms of when it is run, making sure you're not just hauling tail upfield. Check the run first, shuffle, then burst up there and you be good. As long as they do that, I do like that a lot against a group like this, man. Anytime you're getting big play action teams that want to run and do that, that's the type of defense. We ran this all the time against Cleveland as well when they want to run the ball like that. But it's predicated on your guys winning. Your D-line, they got to be stout. Yeah, your linebackers, because they're one-on-one, everybody's man-to-man, you got to have good eyes. Now
it should be a good matchup for our linebackers.
It should. That's what I'm saying. It should. That's why I'm optimistic about it. I'm watching. I'm like, everything points to it should be a good performance. But once again, we've had that conversation before as well with our defense and with certain players. And like, yo, this should be the one for that person. I don't know. Hopefully it is though.
Weird things have always happened, man. Mm-hmm. We need to go 4-0. I hate being like this grand historian here, but yeah, we need to go 4-0. Things were looking bad back in 05. Yeah. I think it was, we were 7-5 at the point. Mm-hmm. Bad loss to the Bengals. It was like, you need to win the next 4. And then we played really good. We played really good. So
let's get it done, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to the don't likes then, man. All right, so in the chat, drop the 3 things that you don't like about this Titans team, man. All right. So for me, man, the first thing that I don't like is they have limited X factors in terms of the X factor players, right? We talked about Julio is out there, but Julio isn't really Julio at this stage. No Derrick Henry. We like Tannehill situationally. I don't love him. I just like him. Yeah. Like I say, that's a great analogy that you said. A poor man's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a poor man's Josh Allen. So I kind of like him, but I kind of don't like him. Defensively, like I said, a couple of players here and there really like Kevin Byard, but as a whole, I just don't feel like they have enough guys. You know what I mean? Where we talk about like, yo, that's a guy right there. Like, yo, he's legit. We got to worry about this guy right here. I feel like they're a little lacking. They're a little limited in terms of their X factor players. So
yeah. Yeah, cornerback group, you could say, like, as a whole, but if your top guys, Janoris Jenkins, it's not like elite.
Yeah.
I get I get what you're saying.
And I think Janoris is questionable coming into this game.
He's been banged up.
I hope that he's finished this whole Jackrabbit thing.
What about it?
The whole name
like
change.
The nickname?
Man, it's a lot.
Is that a nickname or official name?
He's trying to change it. Like, you know how Chad changed into Ocho Cinco?
Yeah.
He's in the process of changing his name to Jackrabbit Jenkins. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And the only reason I know is because that Monday night game where we had to keep hearing my man Louis Riddick called him Jackrabbit Jenkins. I'm like, why are we calling him that? And the Titans website has him as Jackrabbit Jenkins.
You're right.
So I'm like, bro, this is nuts.
You're right.
Yes. So I'm just like, I
like that.
You know what? That's what I don't like. I don't like his name. Okay. I don't like Jackrabbit. I don't like that name.
Okay, so
I had to get that off my chest.
For me, I'm just gonna combine it. I'll do this. I'll do this just in one. I was gonna say I'll combine special teams all together, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. I don't like their kicker, Randy Bullock. Dude, he's missing kicks left and right, man. He's put him in tough situations.
Deke, I am so happy you said that. You know why?
Why?
Because that's my number 2 reason that I don't like about
you. Just have Randy Bullock.
I just put Randy Bullock, and I feel kind of guilty because he was a former teammate, right? Remember, he spent a little time here at Pittsburgh. He got us out of a stadium or 2 after that whole Scobie thing. So I do feel like I owe him one. I'm forever like, yo, I appreciate you. But yo, I can't. And it's at Hines. I know what that thing looked like. That it's a little iffy. It's a little janky. I don't believe in it at all. At all. Like when he would hit, he was like, yo, thank God. You know what I mean? But he's not that type of guy. You know what I mean? Especially at Hinesville, man. So that's the number 2 thing that I don't like.
No, he's hitting the post. It doesn't look like he has the strongest of legs, but yeah, I mean, he's putting Titans somewhat in a tough situation over these past couple games.
He's not terrible. We're not saying he's terrible, but
he has been these last 3 games, though. At least the ones that I've watched. He's missing extra points, missing field goals, hitting the.
Okay.
What do you
He might be terrible. Dang.
That's not the crossbar. What is that?
The upright?
The upright. He's hitting the uprights and stuff. I think that Patriots game would have been a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Outside of the turnovers, obviously, if he would have made some of those field goals. But that's my number 2 is the turnovers. He's passed however many games. Tannehill turning the ball over left and right.
Turning it over.
Fumbling the ball all over the place. The running backs, but then also their special teams guy, Rodgers.
Yep.
He's fumbling it on the punt that gave the Texans an easy touchdown, and then he fumbled it early in the Jacksonville game. They ended up recovering it. So, yeah, turnovers and ball security for the Titans has been costing them because they can't afford to do it with how their offense is. You talk about the lack of X factors. They need to keep it secure because that's going to be their best chance. They need to turn the other team over, if anything. That's what they did in the Rams game. Yeah, you can't be turning the ball over with their lack of weapons and just how they're operating right now without Derrick Henry. So yeah, that's number 2 for me.
No, I like that, man. I see we grinding today. I see us.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing that I don't like is their running backs, man. Without Derrick Henry, they have a commitment to running the ball. And was it Donta Foreman? I mean, like at times especially in that
Foreman, Hilliard.
especially
They got like
in,
3 guys.
Is it McIntosh? I think he got
McNichols.
McNichols, that's what it is. Yeah, but
he's not even relevant.
No, because last game they went with Foreman more. But
he's more of a receiving back.
But it's like they rotate which week they want to have a guy as their feature. Because I remember when Henry first went down, they brought in AP. Then AP, they put him out and they put McNichols in. Then from McNichols, they went with Foreman. I've seen Foreman I think Foreman,
he's their guy,
is like their best option right now, but it's different. You watch him, I mean, he's just a guy. Now I say that, but
we saw what the Lions did.
Yes, and that's the part where
Swift had a good game, but it was their guys that were just the guy that went off.
So that's the only part for me where I'm just like, I feel like I have to be careful when I say that. Yeah, because we will have certain players looking like they are all stars, and it's like, bro, this dude ain't like that. So with Foreman, he is a guy, decent size. I don't think he's anything special. But as a whole, I just don't like their running backs. I like their commitment to running the ball, and I like the physicality that they play with along with the O-line. But as a whole, I do not like their running backs. So yeah.
Okay. I think just for the sake of staying consistent, I'll say Ryan Tannehill for my done.
Fair enough.
I think we could fluster him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned it feels like as soon as he drops back, they're either doing play action, they're just trying to check it down. And I don't think he's a winning quarterback in terms of like winning a Super Bowl at the end of the day. Yeah. Now he's a quarterback that is better than Kirk Cousins. He's just a little bit above those guys like Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins. Who else do you want to throw in that mix? Baker.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of 3 guys though, and that kind of like
exactly the group you're talking about.
Top 20-ish type of tier. I think he's a touch above because of his physical tools. There are things I like about him though because of those tools. The mobility, he does have good arm strength.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's an it factor. I don't know what it is that's lacking with Tannehill. There is, because I see it in certain players. I've seen it with Benny.
He don't have it. Yep.
He's a franchise guy. I've seen it with Brady. I've seen it with Rodgers. Yeah. I think Burrow.
Tannehill's QB1. He's not. I don't think he's franchise QB though. Like in terms of like the it factor. In terms of like, man, when you talk about 2 minutes left, gotta have it, or any of those scenarios that you always bring up, like he definitely it doesn't feel the same.
Anyone like you could probably go through examples where he's done it.
I feel better with him than Cousins though in those moments. What would you think?
Tannehill over Cousins?
Yeah, in those moments, like in those clutch moments,
by slightly, because you could probably even go through his career. And I saw it last year. Like he had a nice little drive going against the Texans that clinched the AFC South.
Against us, he had a nice drive.
You could do that. That's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. But I harp more on AFC Championship game against Mahomes. No, there's just no chance. There's no chance. You're not outdueling Mahomes, and Tannehill's never really been that guy, in my opinion. Now, you could go through his career, like I said, and probably pull out some of these game-winning drives that he's had, but no, there's just a difference to all this. We talk about all that Ben stuff and like the stories and his game-winning drive. It is. It's 100% different. Now, you can even see some of these rookies coming in. Like Mac Jones, I think he's got it. I do. I really like Joe Burrow. I think he does. He's turning the ball over left and right, though. I think he's going to maybe eventually put it together. But yeah, Tannehill doesn't have it, so that's why I got him on the don't like list.